Mainstream media's cringe attempt to replace Boris Johnson with Keir Starmer and a Labour government is exposed, and we talk about the embarrassing behaviour from civil servants who work in Downing Street. Right, I'm going to be talking about two different groups. One, the left-wing mainstream media and the politicos, as well as the civil servants who work in Downing Street. Firstly, this is Sky News. On their website, completely try to stir more chaos and more drama. Obviously, you guys know that alternative outlets like this channel, I'm already open about my bias and my leanings. So if I criticize Boris Johnson's government, it's because I want to make sure that we have a conservative government and we have a sound policy program in place rather than replace him with Keir Starmer. Whereas these guys, on their website, they literally have a video in the name of guidance and teaching people about politics. It's called How to Replace a Tory Prime Minister. Now, that aside, you get the BBC with a cringy headline saying, how many wine bottles fit in a suitcase? Really? Is this really the level of journalism we have in this country at this point? The BBC journalism that we have. The reason I say that this is just cringy and actually also extremely biased, because I'm allowed to be biased because I'm already open about my biases. They keep pretending to be impartial. If they were truly impartial, they would have an outrage moment when it comes to Keir Starmer breaking, or at least allegedly breaking the restrictions by having indoor drinks with his colleagues. Allegedly. They would have had some sort of outrage when it comes to their own colleagues, like Kay Burley. When Kay Burley broke the rules, and she was suspended, they simply, Sky News themselves, they reported it. They said she's apologized, we've suspended her for a while, and then she's going to come back anyway, and she came back. But there was no actual scrutiny to the way they are obviously behaving when it comes to everybody else. You would expect them to be calling for some sort of investigation into finding out whether other Sky News staff members also break the rules, whether BBC journalists also break the rules. There's absolutely no calls for any inquiry when it comes to their own people. This is why it's complete double standard. It's quite embarrassing the way it's going. Doesn't mean that Downing Street are the good guys either. We know that the latest stories that got leaked is kind of worse than anything we've already heard. I didn't really care much about one-off Christmas party story that came out a month ago. Then I was like, well, it's embarrassing, of course, hypocrites, absolutely. But then we just discovered they were having weekly drinks every Friday, and these are the photos that we now have, and actually up to a point where apparently they went to buy a £142 drinks fridge, a mini fridge. So that, well, not really mini, but big enough to put all the bottles of wine and Prosecco and beer, and they can keep it cool. That's embarrassing. But it should not be the job of the BBC to do a headline saying, how many bottles can you fit in a suitcase? How is that going to help the public? Genuinely, how is that going to help the public? There are bigger problems here. For example, when you have Downing Street already saying that we're not really denying that these drinks took place. What's Sue Gray doing? This investigation, Sue Gray and the Met Police have said that we are going to wait for Sue Gray to tell us whether there is enough evidence to investigate this. Number 10 have already admitted, we did it. They already said we have had drinks. I don't understand why the Met, well, we know why the Met have been complacent about this. Their own police officers have been guarding Downing Street doors while everybody else was inside having parties. So they already knew there were rule breaking happening inside their own building. So don't get me started with those guys. But let's focus on how the mainstream media's cringe attempt is simply to be biased in favour of the Labour Party and Keir Starmer. Otherwise, we would have an outrageous series of videos on Sky News, on BBC News, about how we should have an inquiry into the Labour Party rule breaking and Keir Starmer, whether he's drinking British beer or whether he's drinking European beer. Because he's a patriot, apparently. Well, we're going to come back to you guys throughout the day with more updates. Thanks again for watching. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.